for 20 long years. I smoked lots of reefer and drank lots of beer. Every day at 420, we're gonna settle this score. And for 20 long years, it's been 20 past 4.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to 420 Live. I'm Jeff Kravitz, having a coffee. Look at that. Nice mug. Showing my merch off. My merch. I hope you're all enjoying yourself. You got what you need right now. It's 420 for my friends on the East Coast. As you know, we're now an East Coast-based show coming to you live from the West Coast. So 120 here for me. Nice and fresh. I'm fresh as a daisy. I'm ready to rock. Today, we're going to be talking to our friends. We're going to New York, actually. We're going to go to the East Coast and have 420 with our friends at the Happy Munkey today. Vlad and Ramon over there at the Happy Munkey in New York City. Cannabis Club lifestyle brand. We're going to check them out and see what's going on and how they've been holding up during this crazy pandemic. You do know it's a pandemic, don't you? If not, you've been sleeping under a rock. I don't even get it anymore. I'm like, all right, what now? What's going to happen now? What's next? But, I just keep over-medicating myself. I'm sure all my friends there at home are doing the same. You should have something fresh and flavorful rolled. I know my guests are going to have some beautiful flavor rolled. I am, I've been blessed. The gods, the cannabis gods, how I ever became a cannabis influencer from a rock and roll celebrity photographer is a long and sordid short tale. But I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a great time, and I'm meeting amazing people and having such fun conversations with brands and strains and trying to put together some entertaining shows for all my friends out there so they could see what we got going on out here. And I had some flavor dropped on me from up in Northern California this weekend. That was just, it's a whole new era. I've always been like a straight hydro, up and down hydroponic kind of guy. And I've been enlightened to the organics, and especially the old school organics of what's going on in the grand scheme of things out there. I hope everybody's well, staying safe. I know you're all plotting and planning your Thanksgiving or your lack of and what we're going to do for the holidays. If you tuned in yesterday, we had photographer Dave Hogan, our first reach out across the pond in our new time zone to have the UK. I mean, we had our friend Jonathan Schwartz on last week, but, this was our first UK guest. And Dave has amazing work, amazing catalog, and amazing history. It was great to catch up with Dave. He's an old friend of mine, and I'm glad I saw everybody tuning in. I know a lot of people watch us after the fact. I don't really care. The message is the same, always consistent. We come to you to distract. We've been coming to you 180 some odd times, over 200 times by Christmas. We're going to have some giveaways. I'm talking to my friend Brian Raskin from Heady Old School Bongs to have some Heady Old School Glass to blow us a nice piece of glass for a giveaway, for our contest, to celebrate our 200th episode. And, we got a lot of stuff going on here at 420 Live, always looking and trying to figure out what's going to be our next show, what we're doing. But tomorrow we're going to do the turducken special with our friends Johnny Ray down there in New Orleans. If you don't know what a turducken is, it's a turkey stuffed with a chicken stuffed with a duck and wrapped with boudin stuffing all around it. It is delicious. I'm not even really eating meat these days, but I remember eating turduckens, and they're delicious. And Johnny's going to come on with a couple of our friends from New Orleans, and we're going to talk about stuff. And today we're going to talk about more stuff. Our friends from the Happy Munkey in New York City, Happy Munkey lifestyle brand, cannabis meeting space club, trying to bring that old Amsterdam flavor to New Amsterdam. A lot of you might not realize New York City was called New Amsterdam back in the day, but it was called New Amsterdam before it became New York. I remember. That's how old my history is. I was there when it happened. And our guests today, Vlad and Ramon from the Happy Munkey, are hanging by, and we're going to bring them in right now. They look ready to go. Gentlemen, how are you?
What's going on, my man Jeff?
Good to see you, Vlad.
Thank you for having us.
Good to see you, Ramon. What are you smoking there?
I am smoking on a blunt, my friend. We call this a blunt. So this is a Dutch Master Palmer. I roll it with no leaf. I put some wedding cake up in here.
Wedding cake.
Yes.
Beautiful hybrid. More on the indica side, right?
Yeah, but it don't get me too fucked up. It keeps me it still keeps me going.
It has a little up to it. The wedding cake has a little up to it. You guys are running the Happy Munkey? Why don't you explain to our guests what the Happy Munkey is? Because it's a New York City thing, but I know you're taking it all around the world now.
It's a New York City birth thing, but it's a cannabis derived company. So everything that has to do with cannabis except the actual plant. Well, obviously we're smoking the plant and we're in New York City, so we can't really do most of the situations that we do. We can't necessarily touch the plant, but we do everything else that's around the plant. So the events, the lifestyles, the merch, the media, all of these things. So what happened is, like you said, we brought that Amsterdam cafe feel to New York. And, it was an underground scene for a little while, and then now we're above ground.
But it's a private club where people can come and bring their own cannabis and consume it. Is that correct?
Basically it. That's basically the whole gist of it.
Right now, that's not kind of happening.
No, right now it's not happening at all.
So it's just you guys sitting there hanging out with each other at the Happy Munkey.
Basically.
Are you sick of each other yet?
No, man. That's what we've been doing the whole COVID. Is like the way that they have the NBA bubble, Jeff. We have the Happy Munkey bubble, and it's a big large team, so we're just around each other most of the time, coming up with new creative ways to keep the people educated, entertained, and up to date on what's happening on everything cannabis.
And what are your outreaches like? How are you keeping in touch? I know you have the podcast going.
We got the podcast. We got an actual e-magazine called Monkey Biz that reaches out to thousands and thousands of people, and it keeps you updated. So what we do is we have people like you, Jeff. You have a lot of stuff to contribute to the cannabis. You have a lot of pictures of a lot of celebrities and people who are involved with cannabis, right? So we basically have you send us an article and contribute, right? So we have all these different people from the Cannabis Lifestyle contribute to our magazine and give us information, and we're able to distribute it to all our people.
And you're also branding out through merch and through smoking products. I see a grind. Is that a grinder right there in front of you?
We got some t-shirts. We got a grinder. We got some ashtrays. We got stuff that helps with your cannabis 420 lifestyle.
So your method of making cash before that, people paid for the membership to be a part of Happy Munkey?
Well, what you do is you pay for the merch. You know what I mean? You come in and you give us your contribution, your donation, or for whatever it is, and you get a gift package of the merch, and then you're down. That's it. You're with the club. Right.
And what I know you guys, of course, I mean, I can smell it from here. You want to be in that rec. You want to be in that rec business where you actually have the plant available at the Happy Munkey where people can buy it too, like a proper Amsterdam coffee house.
Absolutely.
One of the things though in LA, it started off that way where you could consume where you bought. They had smoking lounges connected to it, and then they separated the consumption from the business. What's the status in New York City?
In New York, Jeff, we are still in the Stone Age when it comes to cannabis. Cannabis is medically legal, but they don't even have flowers. So basically the only thing available is tinctures and oil. So it's very limited as far as like what you could get. There's only like maybe like 150, 200,000 registered medical patients. So we have a long way to go because there's not much accessible over here.
And when's going to be on the ballot like every other state? Is there talk of that?
Hopefully, when we hear all our information at Jeff, we like to say it's in the barbershop. Over here, where we grew up at, you get all the juicy tea in the barbershop. And what we hear in the barbershop is that it's possibly going to be on the bill in April next year.
Yeah, well, it's already happening across the United States. 3 states went legal this time, with Oregon topping it off with mushrooms and then decriminalizing coke and heroin. I mean, they're really kicking it up.
What they're saying is, Jeff, that the war on drugs, the drugs won the war.
It's true. Let's face it. And especially when you see what's happened with the OxyContin problem and the legal drugs in this country, how they've been dumped on us and dumped on our cities and overprescribed to people and gotten people hooked on this harm. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that ruins people's lives, and cannabis is the kind of thing that saves people's lives. But they don't want us smart. They don't want people to be smart. Cannabis, people. I saw one thing we were talking about breaking the stereotype of the lazy stoner, but I never considered myself a lazy stoner. I always consider myself an overthinking stoner. Is what happens. It gets this thing just cranking, and not the way they want you to think. And that's the problem with it when it comes to the government.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, more than ever, we need people to be critical thinkers, and definitely, cannabis helps with that. The pharmaceuticals don't, so that's a big battle. We have an uphill battle with that because obviously they're not going to let their drug cartel go that easily.
Well, Purdue, I was just reading before I came on the air, Purdue Pharmaceuticals is up the creek without a paddle. They're the ones who made the OxyContin. They were sued for $8 billion. The company's closed. They're not going to be making the OxyContin anymore. So there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of changes afoot in our country. Do you think that the legalization is going to come federally before it's going to come? You think that Joe might get in there and in this first 100 days pass the federal legalization bill?
I don't think so, Jeff, because it takes for us to be at a decent level as far as like state to state, especially in a lot of major areas in the country. I believe that you at least got to get it together in the more populated areas in the country before you can think about federal legalization, because if not, it's going to be a shit show like it's been already state by state. So I don't think that's going to happen in the near future, maybe like 5 years from now or something.
Well, I don't know. I think that they have to drop down. These state by state restrictions are strangling the business. And
maybe they'll adjust the laws, but I don't know about full federal legalization. Maybe they will they will bring it down from Schedule 1 drug to a different, more reasonable scheduling.
Well,
to heroin and.
I think there's a couple things going to happen, and one is that they're going to change it from Schedule 1, which is no medicinal value, not able to use in medical research, into a Schedule 2. And one of the things that Schedule 1 does, you guys might not know, is it doesn't allow Wall Street firms to invest in cannabis companies that are scheduled, because it's a Schedule 1 drug. It has to become a Schedule 2 drug for the Wall Street to step in and invest in it. And I think there they are. Did you catch that?
Yeah, we heard that. Definitely. That is exactly what's going on right now. The only people involved are micro caps, which is like basically the bottom barrel investor from the investment world, like you said. Until that doesn't happen, more bigger, larger investments and organizations won't get involved because
right. So when we go to Schedule 2, all of a sudden all that institutional money comes flooding into the market, and at that point, if you're going to have the market segmented state by state by state, that's going to be a mess. So I think that it's all going to have to be encompassing at kind of the same time. When that happens, is it's going to have to be throughout our nation, where you don't have to have separate companies state by state. And I think the upside potential I saw a 30 to 40% upside on some of the stocks just the other day on some of the ETF funds and things like that people are investing in, the cannabis ETFs. But I could think that it's got to be even more than that over the long term once it becomes statewide. It's going to blow up. What do you guys think?
Jeff, the biggest testament to the power of cannabis this year, in a time when the country is most divided, most than ever, was for cannabis to go on the bill in 5 different states and for all of them to pass, which means that people in this country basically agree on nothing, but they all agree on cannabis. When you have places like South Dakota, Mississippi, Montana, Arizona, New Jersey all going. Every single one that went on the bill just says that cannabis is the great unifier, because right now our country is more divided than ever. People don't agree on anything, but they all agree on cannabis. And I think that is the biggest statement made this year about the power of the plant.
Yeah, well, when I'm a little bit older than you guys, and when I was growing up, for my parents, it was like, stay away from that. But now we're in a completely different generation. Well, I'm 40 years from that, 45 years now I've been smoking weed, and it's kind of like I look at it and I'm like, it's a different. Everybody's tried it. Everybody's has experience with family members that have used it. Even if you're a judge, even if you're a congressman, even if you're a police officer, in those days it wasn't like that. It was like certain segments tried it and certain people didn't. Now everybody's had experience about it. So I think that's what we're seeing now is the drop down in the barriers, because everybody's like, fuck it, it's pot. People were smoking the shit when I was 15. At least I like to think that.
Well, now the numbers are up. I believe nationwide it's a 60% approval that people approve of cannabis. So there's a Spanish saying, Jeff. We're originally, our parents are from Dominican Republic, and it says that el pueblo quita pone, which means is that the people will, at the end of the day, push their will on government, whether they like it or not. And the people have spoken, Jeff.
Oh yeah, it's happening right now. You can feel it. You see it every day. It's such a relief. I'm breathing so much easier the past couple days.
Everybody want weed. Absolutely.
It's been amazing. So what are your challenges there in New York?
Woo! Yeah, there's a long list of those. Challenges here in New York: lack of access to cannabis. Like I said, we don't have any problem with the medical. We think medical cannabis can be very also useful, but not when you don't have flower, because as we all know, cannabis isn't as effective and medicinally better for people when you don't have access to the full plant.
Are you guys both flower guys? Are you both flower guys more than extract?
Yes. And also, we have worked with some companies to push the medical program and get more people registered, but there's not many people don't have access to the information, access to the plant here. So it's definitely a long list and a long way from being the way it should be, like as far as like being more progressive, like in other places like where you are, Jeff.
Right, but all right, I got a couple. I got two comments here. One is legal in Jersey. That's right over the bridge. Get on that path train. I'm sure they're gonna have a shop right up top when you get off that path train. And the second is that when I was in New York last time and I was looking to score, I went online and put on cannabis delivery, and up comes Jack Flash or whatever. I think that was his name. And when I started doing research, this guy has been in business doing cannabis delivery in New York City for 20 or 25 years. It's not like he started in the past couple of years. So New York City's been like, we used to have the tea counselor. Do you remember that back in the day? I don't know if you remember that, but they would advertise in the back of the Village Voice. There'd be a little ad and say friendly tea counselor, and the guy would come to your house and open up his bag. And, so there's been an underground delivery market in New York City for years. So those that want to find it, right?
Not just delivery, Jeff. There is tons of ways to find it here, because the reality is, even with all those uphill battles we have, the numbers say, Jeff, New York City is the highest consuming city in the world. We consume over 80 tons a year. And
80 tons a year?
Yeah, there's no lack of cannabis here ever, because, like I said, man, the people, demand what they want, their medicine. So there's always going to be somebody that's going to provide it.
So the black market's running rampant, and you're saying there's basically shops where you can go in and get what you want, like anything else. It's just you have to know.
There's just different scenarios. There's somebody in their dorm room selling. There's somebody on their neighborhood stoop selling. There's delivery service. There's
in the back of the store.
The ice cream man.
Whatever it is, people are going to, get this medicine, and there's going to always be people that are going to be willing to take the chance to sell it, because there's people that are doing much worse out here that has a way more negative effect. So then you can't blame them, Jeff. They're still providing a service that right now currently the government is not providing, helping people, you know, in the most stressful city in the world, you know, get the edge off, helping people medically. So, you know, what are you going to tell them?
Yeah, well, I read one state it banned booze as of for Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving. They're not selling booze. I can't remember. I think it might be Texas, Pennsylvania. I don't remember, but there's one place banned booze, but cannabis was made essential from the get-go in the different states. It was deemed an essential product, so shops were left open. People were able to have safe access to cannabis in the states where it was legal. But you know, the black market in New York and the black market in LA is kind of booming right now because the regulation has just crushed so many businesses with the overtaxation. I mean, you buy $300 worth of weed and it's $450 by the time you're walking out the door. And it's just like people that smoke a lot are like, why don't I just call my buddy or go, you know, the delivery service? So there's a flip side to being recreational that really hasn't been positive out here, in that the black market has continued to be strong because they overpriced the legitimate market.
Well, what happens is that, you know, we believe that one of the biggest issues in the industry, Jeff, is the divide between corporate cannabis and culture cannabis. So what happens is, Jeff, a lot of big corporate, big money people decided about 8-10 years ago they're going to come in cannabis, clean it up, and make it new and clean and shiny. But the reality is, Jeff, if you don't include the people that have been, you know, understanding this market, the culture for over 70, 80 years, you're going to fail because you don't understand the consumer, you don't understand the culture, and by default, you know, you won't do well. So the only way to have a fully optimal market where everybody benefits is to include both sides of the spectrum, the culture and the corporate, and for them to work together to give people the best experience and the best value in cannabis. And that's what hasn't happened from what we've seen.
Yeah, I think it's been such a big divide, you know, because you just get raped when you're going in there to buy a bag of weed. You're like, who wants to spend $75, $80 on an eighth of weed? I'm sorry. You know, and I smoke a couple grams a day, and especially the kids, the family gets involved, you know, and then you're like, oh shit, there goes a quarter ounce a day. And then you're spending $150 on a quarter ounce of weed. That's $600 an ounce. I mean, that's just not this scale where I want to be, you know. I mean, I love weed, but not like that.
Not enough to go broke. I think, Jeff, the problem is that corporate cannabis has looked at the legacy market as a liability instead of an asset. If they were to bring them in and make them part of their companies, they would be so much more successful because they know things that a corporate person just getting into cannabis will never know. And I think that is part of the issue. Like, for them to look at, if they looked at it that way, I think our industry would be a lot different right now, Jeff.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, the corporate culture, I think the what we talked about a little bit earlier about the states and the way they operate, and the fact that they have you know, they've kept the big guns away because of the Schedule 1. That's the one thing that scared them off. And the fact where it's not national, and you have to create a different business in each state. So what that's done is kept a lot of the big players off and afraid to get in because they couldn't really invest the way they wanted to invest, and allowed a lot of these little mom and pop and smaller businesses to expand and grow into real businesses in the individual states. And I think that they've created this situation where the businesses that are there are so entrenched now that when the big guys try to come in, it's kind of like they did the opposite of Budweiser. Remember when Budweiser bought all those craft beers and spent $25 million to buy a little craft beer? Here, the craft beers are the ones that started first, and then all the big guys are going to come in later, and the craft guys are already going to operate the market. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, of course. Definitely, though, that I believe happens in every industry. Well, no, is what he's trying to say. Like this one is different because now all the guys who got the specialty hands, like all the guys who know how to grow the fire, are more like teams like us. You know what I mean? It's more like teams like us. It's not.
It's more grassroots.
Oh no, that definitely. But what I was gonna say is that I completely agree with that. But what I was gonna say is that when that big money comes in, they're not into like operations. They're just gonna buy all these people like us and people that are doing things like that and put them under their umbrella.
Right. They're going to buy up these individual companies. But right now, how many states are legal? 30, I think, 29, 30, 33?
Yes.
So 33. So you only got 17 left. Right? So it's 30. Each state has a different business. That's 33 different states with 33 different, all the different chocolate businesses, all the different gummy businesses, all the different bud businesses. I mean, they've created a nightmare scenario for themselves. I think they should have just like done it right from the beginning, and they would have had control over it. And now it's like we are the foxes, and we're running the penthouse kind of.
Well, as you know, I'm not gonna just completely blame them. You know, it's a big task to take on to figure it all out in a country as big as ours. So, I'm not gonna necessarily say it's like an easy feat, but you know, like you said, eventually it'll work itself out. You know, it's just that, it's definitely, no different than I'm sure when like alcohol went from being, in prohibition to being above board. It took a while before they figured out how to make it, seamless because, it's a big thing to take something that has been underground and make it like seamless stream part of society. So I definitely don't think it's like anything easy to take on.
Yeah, I don't think so either. What are some of you have like? Are you getting any of the flavors that we're getting out here in the brands? Is that stuff making it out to you guys?
That shit is making it everywhere. We're not everybody's the whole city. You see, if you notice, in the whole fucking country, everybody's getting whatever bags you guys are getting. They some way somehow it's reaching every major city around us. You got to remember, Jeff, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, Jeff. We just told you over 80 tons a year. We've got every flavor on planet Earth here because we're the biggest consumers in the world. So some way, somehow, everything ends up here.
Yeah, well, one of the most popular flavors was the New York City Diesel. I mean, that was the one that really.
That's the diesel. That's what the AKA the loud. That's what everybody calls the loud. It's because it smells very, very pungent. The shit, you open up a bag, the shit smells up the room immediately, right?
You don't even have to open the bag. Sometimes it's in your pocket and you go walking in and people are like, what the fuck? Who's that?
Right. That's so, that's always been popular. I think that's going to be popular for a long time. Now what's popular is like all the OGs, like all the big OGs, like whatever's like the knockout, you know what I mean? Like so it's so many strains and so many different flavors now that it's all about the next best flashy knockout. So if your bag looks flashy and you got the knockout inside the bag, you're the next thing.
Yeah, but always the OG is the top of the line.
Now, though, Jeff, we still have something that you guys don't have over there on that side of the pond, and that is, I don't know if you know about it, Jeff, old school haze, old school Purple Haze, Puree, we call it over here. That's an East Coast thing that's always been here and is still here. I don't know if you know about it, Jeff.
The Purple Haze, well, I remember that strain, but I remember that strain as an LSD.
But it's not the haze that those different hazes like Amijes and all that. It's completely different, and it's native to the East Coast, and it's like one of the hardest strains to find. And it's like one of the only things that we have that you guys don't. Everything else you guys have it all. Yeah, we call it that piff.
The piff, huh? The purple. And what's the genetics on that?
It's kind of like it's myths, but it's not exactly completely known because it's like I told you, It never went above ground.
Oh, you mean it's been like an underground strain?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna look it up here on my Leafly app and see what they say.
You know, it's coming from the origins of the haze and the crippy strains.
Right. Purple Haze is a sativa strain popularized by the Jimi Hendrix classic. Dreamy burst of euphoria that brings veteran consumers back to their psychedelic heyday. Purple tie and haze is the combination.
This is one of those things that Google's not going to help you with. You might have to tap into some of your friends that are old school New Yorkers and that smoke, and they'll give you a better review.
Well, no, it seems like it's a strain that's like in Amsterdam. It's in the seed banks, right? The Purple Haze. It's been around. You know what we have out here now is like I've connected with all these growers up in Humboldt that have been doing multi-generational growers that are doing the strains for like Jerry Garcia's new strain. And I had a little gift brought back to me, and I don't know if you could probably smell this when I open it. It's called the Green Lantern. Have you seen that yet?
Green Lantern, nah. See, so many different flavors. I never even heard. What the fuck?
And this stuff, I'll tell you what, this is the new Jerry Garcia strain. It's called the Green Lantern, and it's in his pre-rolls that they're making. The farm is I know what it is. It's Lantern Farms up in Mendocino, Humboldt area. And what I've learned from these guys, from starting to meet them and try to get them on as guests of the show, is that there's these small batch strains that these guys have been growing up there for decades that they've never turned anybody on to, that they keep in-house because the farms, some of them are big and they grow things that they send out, and other stuff they stay inside. But it's the first time I've really gotten into the organic strains, which are, you know, I've always been like a hydro kind of guy. Are you guys hydro or do you have a preference?
We know hydro.
Yeah, I'm a hydro fanatic. I love the hydro, but I smoked a little of this last night, and let me tell you, the flavor is unbelievable. And my friend of mine tried it. The Garcia strain, it just came out last week. It's based on Jerry Garcia, the guitar player for the Grateful Dead, and they're doing a huge push out here on the West Coast. It's in all the shops. Heavy merchandising, and you know, I got friends that are deadheads that are going in there and buying the strain just because he has his name on it, which is really interesting to me because as a pothead, as an aficionado for years, it's always been not about the names, just about the taste and the flavor for me. You know, for me, I love the Chem Dog. My friends helped invent that strain and bring it back out, and I love the flavor of the Chem. It's just delicious, you know, but dude, I just love the fact that, what's that?
Now it's more about the hype and the packaging than the actual cannabis.
Well, you know what they say, 90% marketing, 10% product.
Well, that's going into effect into this now, unfortunately.
Well, that's going to be the flip side of what we see happen in this business.
Yeah, well, I'm old school. Wherever I'm at, wherever I go, I'm always looking for the fire. I'm always looking for the good weed. I'm always looking at the weed. So I don't really care about packaging.
No, I totally agree. But the thing is that we're not the basic consumer, and the basic consumer of cannabis is not going to be informed. It's going to be like the guy who buys a beer, and you know, here's a Budweiser and here's a Heineken, and you know, they're going to be the kind of choices he looks at, and he's going to be like, look, I like the way the package looks, or you know.
Right.
Endorsed by doctors or whatever it is. I don't know where that Kraken's coming from. So what are you guys looking forward to out there? What's on the plan for the Happy Munkey?
Well, right now in the near future, Jeff, right now, next month, like Ramon told you, we have an e-magazine that, you know, is amazing, and we have contributors from like New York Times, High Times, Boston Globe, Rolling Stone, and December is our 1-year anniversary, and we're gonna do a limited print run where we're coming out with 420 print copies to celebrate our 1-year anniversary, and hopefully we'll have a small event, of course, COVID, social distancing friendly, where we can have some people over to have the release of this print collector's item magazine we're going to put out.
Yeah, well, that's the hard part now is everybody wants to have events, but It's so hard.
Yeah. Now it's like you gotta mix them in between virtual and small as you can gatherings.
Yeah. We're in the upside down. How's the city going? How's everything? How's the vibe out in the streets? What's going on? Is it pretty quiet?
Definitely for this time of the year, usually, it's like one of the liver times of the year over here. Thanksgiving and Christmas, definitely a lot quieter than usual. But, New York is, built for it tough. So everybody's still, moving and grooving and doing what they got to do. Restaurants and nightclubs close at 10 p.m. now because the numbers started going up recently. So I guess, we went like LA time now where everybody has to do everything earlier than usual, Jeff.
Yeah, well, when I was there this summer, there wasn't a lot of late night things going on either. It's just people were out on the streets, but a lot of businesses were closed by midnight. Bodegas closing. I never seen anything like it.
No, definitely, man. It's definitely taking a toll on the energy of the city, but at the end of the day, people have been more creative, hanging out in parks, doing a lot of more outdoors activities because right now that's all you really have. It's definitely a time, it's such a city that, has so much going on. Everybody has to get creative and find their own way to really, still move and groove and enjoy their day. You're smoking a lot more.
Yes. Staying a lot calmer.
Yeah, I think everybody's consumption went up like 50% at least since all this madness started. Shit, I get high every time I could, Jeff. You don't understand. This shit crazy over here. There's nothing. Look, man. There's not. Things are not moving at fast as we're used to. Things are moving very slow. Restaurants are moving very slow. You can't barely get into these things. Like it's very different. It's very different right now.
Yeah, well, there used to be such a class where people would go crazy that they had so much money they could go anywhere and do anything. And now we're all even.
Yeah, that's not happening.
It's the great leveler. This whole thing has been an amazing leveler. Well, you guys are doing God's work there in New York City. I know it's a hard market for cannabis legalization, but we're with you, and we hope it passes in April. Your friends here on the West Coast got their fingers crossed, and I appreciate you guys coming on the show today.
Yeah, man, that's what we're here to do. Because what happens is, Jeff, before us, we felt that New York and the tri-state area and the East Coast really didn't have much of a voice that represented the culture and highlighted the corporate and really gave people a ground, perspective of what's happening over here. So now with us, people get to tap in, see what's going on with the culture, what's going on with the corporate, what's going on with the real people. And it's been really amazing to provide a vessel and the voice for how the people feel here and educating them and enlightening them on all the amazing things that are happening in this industry. Because like I said, before us, this information accessible on this side. So we're happy to provide, pride ourselves on being very. People go to CNN for the doom and gloom, not to Happy Munkey Media. We keep people always united. Look at the big and all, preach that gloom and doom.
Well, keep it bright and light and tight, guys. And thanks for coming on today. And I appreciate you. And I can't wait to come back to New York and hang out at the Monkey and smoke some fire with you guys. I'll bring some lantern. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. I think they're hearing me. All right. Happy Munkey Crew out. Thank you, Happy Munkey Crew. I appreciate you guys coming on today. We had a little bit of technical difficulty. I could hear it on my mic, so I think it was probably on their end, but it sounded like when I talked, but I could hear what they were saying. was great having the guys on the show, and nice to see the New York family at it, fighting a good fight. You know, as you all know, cannabis it's a major theme here. We love the cannabis. I actually have my beautiful pipe. My friend G Blue, Chem Dog, the original Chem Dog. Look at this. Look at the detail on that baby. Can you see it? Can you see the milliflores? You know what milliflores are? The little flowers that they glass blowers use. I don't know where my lighter is, or else I'd fire it up. But I have my handy 710 oils. Portable dab, because I don't mind the extracts every once in a while, but I'm more of a flower guy myself too, as you guys all know. Well, thanks, everybody. It was an interesting day, as always. It's always an adventure here at 420. We ride it through the technical difficulties. We ride it. We are unfazed because I've seen it all. It's all happened to me. I just learned to go with the flow. And I hope everybody out there is having a wonderful Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow with our turducken special. Our friends Johnny Ray, Soul. I don't want to say everybody else's name because Abu Dan, Soul Sam, I think. Anyway, we'll all be on tomorrow, having a little turducken, hanging out with you guys, enjoying our pre-Thanksgiving. We will not be here Thursday or Friday. I do have a couple sponsors to tell you about while I got you here. Brady's Cold Brew. Do you like coffee? I love coffee. I am a freaking coffee addict like you wouldn't believe. Let's see. Where's my banner here for my 420 Live Grady's? Grady's Cold Brew, 420live.com. You get a 20% off if you use the Grady's.com Cold Brew. See that? Grady's coldbrew.com/420live. Use that. Check it out. Get some coffees. Chicory flavored New Orleans style cold brew kit. Makes 36 cups. Get yours. You get your discount. Get your 20% off on. And get your Grady's. Tell them Kravitz sent you. And then our other friends are, we were talking about the real grass today, but you cannot smoke the synthetic grass. I mean, maybe have a big old hooter of synthetic grass. Right now, there's a contest at sinlawn.com/420live. Put in that code right there. Enter the contest. Get a 5 foot by 7 foot roll. Not a 5 foot by 7 inch roll, but a 5 foot by 7 foot roll of this. You can lay it out on your lawn. You could make it an outdoor area or turn your bedroom into an outdoor area. If you enter the contest, you have until December 7th, I believe. Enter the contest. I will know you entered it, and I will enter you for an 11 by 14 print from my collection of over 500,000 images. Did you know that? I have 500,000 images online. Sinlawn.com/420live. Enter the contest. Get a print. What else we got? Asher's. You guys been to Asher's? Yes, you have. Asher's Chocolates. Use your 420 Live code at ashers.com and get 20% off. And if you spend $75, they will give you the 420 Live. Yes, the 420 Live CBD bar still exists. I'll be shipping out some for the holidays shortly. Make sure you get yours. It's delicious. Potato chips, pretzels, mini M&Ms, raisins, coconut flakes. Oh, I'm getting hungry already. CBD and milk chocolate, 8 ounces. It's a half a pound. My candy bar is a half a pound. Has my picture on it. We'll get it to you. It'll be a beautiful thing. And, you know, I've been while I'm talking to these guys, I am watching these two girls go at it. Beauty Girl and Kirpin Tali. And just I don't even know what language they are speaking here. Ogan sana invite atip konus Hakinda Oya. I'm sure this says, wow, the host is so hot. Oh, Turkish. Thank you. Thank you. Now I'm going to have to go and translate that all later so I can see what you guys are talking about. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, ladies. I was just trying to figure it out. And I don't know what G's talking about here. But maybe that's my buddy G who blew my pipe. My beautiful glass pipe. The G piece. Chem Dog glass. We're going to have Chem Dog on the show too. I'm going to drag his. Sorry, guys. I was having a little fun. I just saw you talking, and I was like, what the hell? What is happening to my feed here? We're going off. I didn't recognize the language, and I really couldn't concentrate, but it looks like you guys have solved world hunger or something over here in the comments. I appreciate it. I'm gonna Iki Hayatimi Gurdon right now. Ah, she's your love. Well, good. I'm glad you guys are having a nice little chat here on the old 420 live feed. It warms my heart to keep the love flowing. That's what it's all about. And Ikanitimir to you too. This is almost as fun as me playing with the Instagram filters. I don't know if you caught that act, but I do an amazing Instagram filter show. I will be on the 420 live, 420 West Coast time, probably at some point in the next 3 days, coming to you guys. I have a little Thanksgiving smoke maybe, or hang out a little bit tomorrow after my turducken special. Twice as much fun here, 420 live. And I could spew for hours. I mean, I literally could just sit here and talk to myself. No, it's what happens when you're a dad with kids and a wife that just don't listen to you. So you end up just talking to yourself all the time and answering yourself too, and just having a party. It's a party, and the coffee helps. All right, folks. Have a great Tuesday night. We will see you back here tomorrow, 4:20 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. Don't ask me why. I needed a change of life. People are like, why'd you change the time? I changed the time because I was in a rut. I was feeling it. I was just like, the days were dragging. I was getting a little lethargic late in the afternoon. Needed a break. So now I got my break. Now you see me nice and fresh as a daisy. I mean, I need coffee at 1:30. I can't be that fresh. I'm getting up a lot earlier. But I'm still taking great care of myself, and I hope everybody out there is taking good care of yourself, because that's what it's about out here, because nobody's taking care of anybody. Be careful out there. Don't breathe on people. Have a great day. See you back.